first episode of Talking Sports with Wei and Croney. I gotta get the title right. Talking Sports with Wei and Croney. All right, let's get.
I'm Wei and I'm Croney.
How's everybody doing? We're not gonna give you the normal intro because if y'all don't already know, you gon' know. This ain't the Way's World podcast. This ain't the Way's World Drunkcast. This right here is Talking Sports with Wei and Croney. Y'all already know me. I'm your boy Wei. From the Way's World podcast, from the Way's World Drunkcast. You can find us obviously on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Google, and Spotify, and every place else that you get your local podcasts. But what I'm gonna give my bro here the opportunity to do is introduce himself to y'all so y'all can know who Croney is in the Wei and Croney.
Well, again, I'm Croney. You know what I'm saying? That's a regular guy that's a sports head. That's pretty much it.
Tell them a little bit about yourself. Where you from?
Well, I'm from Nap Town. What, 32? Old ass nigga. You know what I'm saying? It's really into sports, taking care of my kids, man.
He got two very handsome young boys. I got two of them things, y'all. I got two of them things. I still ain't got enough, but you know what? The time is coming. The time is definitely coming.
You'll catch up.
Y'all, I'll catch up. But on the first episode of Talking Sports with Wei and Croney, on today's docket, we have Phillip Rivers possibly retiring? Who's going to make a good run in the second half of the NBA season? The XFL had their first week. We're going to talk about that. And then it's All-Star Weekend. It is held no other place than near my hometown of Gary, Indiana. 219 stand-up. It's held right there over the bridge in Chicago at the United Center. It's lit. Like, All-Star Weekend, we going to get into that. This shit's about to be cold. We're going to let y'all know what we think of the different teams and just give y'all our takes. This is Sports Talk with Wei and Croney. So make sure y'all sit back, relax, and let's get on with this motherfucking show. You ready, bro?
I'm ready.
Let's get this shit. Back here on Talking Sports with Wei and
Croney.
Yup. So the first thing that we're going to get into is Phillip Rivers possibly retiring? Or the better question is, should Phillip Rivers retire? I'm going to let you start off.
Hell yeah.
Explain yourself. You can't, on Talking Sports with Wei and Croney, you can't just give these people, just say, we got to explain ourselves. So explain yourself.
He's going downhill quicker than Brady. He can't elevate his squad at all. I really feel that Brady should go too.
But you're willing to give Brady at least another year?
Yes.
At least another year or two?
Definitely.
Okay.
I say another 2 years.
Another 2 years?
Another 2 years. But for Phillip Rivers, it's over.
Okay.
It just seems like he turns over the ball too much. He's not clutch anymore, if he was at all. Just don't see it. And plus, I don't think he's even going to make it to the Hall of Fame.
Ooh. Okay. So, again, as you all know, this is the first episode of Talking Sports with Wei and Croney. And he's already on the blasphemous end of it, on the blasphemous end of things. I believe Phillip Rivers is definitely a Hall of Fame QB. Let me see really quick. Just based off of these stats alone, if we're speaking purely on the facts,
if you can't elevate your squad to go get that ring,
8-time Pro Bowler, hold on, 8-time Pro Bowler, comeback player of the year, passing yards leader in 2010, passing touchdown leader in 08, passing rating leader in 08. Completion percentage leader in 2013. Y'all know I can't fucking talk sometimes. My mouth get all jumbled. And I'm gonna give y'all a couple more stats just really quick. For the Chargers, he leads in games played, wins, pass completions, pass attempts, completion percentage, passing yards all time, passing TDs, game-winning drives. What?
For who though?
For the Chargers.
For the Chargers.
For the Chargers. You're 100% right.
For who?
But still, again, he's been able to lead them to multiple AFC championship games. He's never been able to get over that hump to actually get into a Super Bowl. This year was supposed to be that year, especially based off of last year. Because let's not get confused. And again, I'm double checking my sources just to make sure I'm not tripping.
They were in the playoffs. Yes.
Hold on. Just to make sure I'm not tripping. We're looking at the Chargers record from last year. Why did it just go to Charger Reddit? It just went to Reddit. Okay, so let's see here. This thing just said, what? It's giving me everything but what I need. So it was 5-11. Let's go back. It was 5-11 this year. Last year, they was 12-4.
I was gonna say 11 games.
They was 12-4. They were tied with the Chiefs just last year. And just based off of, like, here's the thing, right? In some aspects, people like to compare Eli Manning's career to Phillip Rivers purely based on the fact that they feel that these two should not be in the Hall of Fame. People are arguing for some reason for these two particular quarterbacks who are named quarterbacks, who are names for their generation. When you talk about a certain generation of QBs, you talk about Peyton Manning, Tom Brady, Phillip Rivers. All AFC. For the longest, those were the three best QBs in the AFC. You can't tell me they weren't.
Roethlisberger.
Fuck, I forgot all about Big Ben. The top four QBs, damn. Okay, the top four QBs in the AFC was Rivers, Roethlisberger, Brady, and Manning for the longest. But the reason why I put Rivers ahead of Roethlisberger I'm not talking about as far as stats. Big Ben and Cole. I mean, as far as the year they came out. Remember, Big Ben was drafted in what, like 05, 06? If I'm not tripping, it was like 05, 06 is when Big Ben got drafted.
Around there, yeah.
And Phillip Rivers was the year before. So again, like I said, just that's why I'm saying around the same time period. They was drafted about a year apart. That's the only reason why I'm saying around the same time period.
Phillips could never be Big Ben, man.
He couldn't though. But nobody could really be Big Ben. Like, Big Ben was this big, beefy ass fucking QB.
But was he able to get his team over the hump?
No. That's not the discussion here. Stay on the topic, Croney.
That's the topic.
What we're not going to do is get off sides.
That's
what
the
we start
topic.
talking about in comparison. What I'm saying is keep the narrative straight. What I'm saying, Croney,
You have to make your team better. Has Phillip Rivers ever made his team better in his whole
actually,
16 career?
in some years, he was the best piece on his team. After LT left, and I just forgot the tight end that fucking fast. What was his name? Antonio Gates. Again, after Gates and LT left, he was the best player on his team.
I can't say that because, if I'm not mistaken, Sproles was still there.
Sproles isn't better than Phillip Rivers. You're not about to sit up here and tell me fucking Darren Sproles is better than Phillip Rivers. Really? Y'all, the blasphemy that's coming out of this man's mouth. He's saying that Darren Sproles is better than Phillip Rivers. Now, let's not get it confused.
Was he a big part of the New Orleans winning that chip over Indiana?
Darren Sproles was.
So did he not make a team better to get him over the hump?
He made plays. That team was led by Drew Brees.
Did he make
it was
plays?
led by Drew Brees.
Did he make plays?
He wasn't the only one though.
Okay.
He did, but did he make
what
plays?
What Phillip Rivers done?
Phillip Rivers is out here dropping bombs.
He ain't dropping nothing but interceptions and drop passes.
This year?
Did they leave
What about
this year for drop passes?
This year. And the drop passes, you can't always put that up to the QB.
Yeah, when you put them balls in the right spot, it matters.
But sometimes when you put the ball in the right spot, your wide receiver still got to go catch it. Your running backs still got to go catch it. They still got to go get the ball. Regardless, that's what I'm saying here. So even if, yes, they may have been the team with the most dropped passes this year, no, like that doesn't always fall 100% on the QB. It doesn't. And a perfect example of that was Colin Kaepernick's last season in the league. Colin Kaepernick's last season in the league, the 49ers were pretty up there for as far as dropped passes. And if you go back and look at the tape and look at the passes that Colin Kaepernick made, a lot of those were playable balls. It was because of the receiving core that those balls became drop balls.
But we're not on Kaepernick. Can you sit
we're not just talking about drop balls.
Can you sit here and look at me in the eye and say that he didn't have no part of them drop balls this year?
I'm not telling you he didn't. What I'm saying is you can't make the whole thing him. The whole thing's not him.
But it's always the quarterback when they win. It's the quarterback's team. The quarterback's supposed to make the team.
It's not always the QB when they win. The 2000 fucking Ravens. That was the defense that won that.
But Flacco made the necessary play.
That wasn't Flacco. That was Trent Dilfer. You're thinking about the recent Ravens Super Bowl. I'm talking about when Ray Lewis won Super Bowl MVP back in 2000. Ray Lewis was Super Bowl MVP, as we all know, and it was the defense that anchored that Super Bowl. The same thing happened when Joe Flacco came. Because think about it. No, put your head up. Because think about it.
Right.
After Joe Flacco got that money, what Joe Flacco do? Nothing. He did nothing. He did nothing. Joe Flacco did nothing after the Ravens gave him that big money contract. So
that happened to most players, though.
So what I'm saying, when Peyton won his Super Bowl, again, he had good years after that. He just can never get back over the hump with the Colts, and then got back over it with the Broncos.
Well, you can't say that because he went to the Super Bowl next year.
No, he went in 2006. He went in 2011. And then after the 11th Super Bowl, which he lost to the New Orleans Saints, that was his last Super Bowl in Indy.
Yeah.
So it was like a 5-year gap between him winning and him going back.
Was it 5 years?
Yes. Trust me. I remember exactly where I was for the Peyton Manning Super Bowl. I remember exactly what I was. I was in the church basement telling people that Peyton was going to beat the Bears. And
I always say that I think somebody paid Peyton to throw that interception when he played.
To the Saints? What?
I'm going to stick to it.
Hot take. Hot take.
To it. He got a nice check for that. He got a nice one for that one.
Hot takes. And the crazy part about that Saints season, since we even talking about that Super Bowl, because you got to remember that was the bounty season. That was the bounty season for the Saints. Because that was the season that they beat Brett Favre in the NFC Championship to even make it to the Super Bowl.
We should have won that Super Bowl. Man, I need some money.
But final thoughts on Phillip Rivers' retirement.
I'm just gonna say this: if Eli's not making the Hall of Fame, Rivers shouldn't be in the Hall of Fame. I'll leave it at that.
Okay. And my final thoughts on this is, I feel like Eli and Phillip should both be in the Hall of Fame. Again, from my personal perspective, I feel like they're named QBs. I feel like the Hall of Fame is based off of stats, pure stats. What people like, for instance, with T.O., right? T.O. not getting in the Hall of Fame rubbed a lot of people the wrong way, right?
Correct.
Rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. And they were saying it was because of T.O.'s behavior. Not based off of his stats, behavior. The Hall of Fame, at least used to be, I guess they are factoring in behavior now, but the Hall of Fame used to be based off of what stats you put up in your career. What were you able to do throughout your career? It wasn't always Super Bowl wins, but it was based on the stats that you were able to put up and how good were you able to be. And I feel like QB, as far as QBs goes, Phillip Rivers and Eli Manning were two damn good QBs.
Eli had good years. I'm sorry.
Eli did have good
He
years.
just had good years.
But that's enough about Phillip Rivers in retirement. We'll be right back here.
Bye, Phillip Rivers. Get out of here.
We'll be right back on Talking Sports with Wei and Croney. Next up is going to be who we think is going to make a run in the second half of the NBA season. Now we're about to start getting into some heat.
Oh, yeah.
Now we're about to start getting into some heat. So stay tuned with both of us. I'm Wei.
This is Croney.
We'll be right back with you. Fresh off of that Phillip Rivers talk, the next thing, like I told y'all we're going to talk about, is who we believe could make a run to get into the playoffs in the second half of the season. Now the thing is, in the Eastern Conference, I feel like it's pretty much sold up at this point.
So
like
going with the Bucks then, just right off bat.
Just as far as who's going to win it all, honestly, I think the Heat have a serious chance. I'm not saying that the Bucks aren't the best team in the East. I just feel like the Heat do have a chance to actually sneak in there, especially with the new addition of Iggy. They got Duncan Robinson. They got I believe his name is Kendrick Nunn. They have a squad. Jimmy Butler, like Bam Adebayo. The Heat got some players and they got some heat. Literally, the Heat got some heat. But they're fourth. As far as like everybody that's like 9 through 15 or like, you know, the rest, 1 through 8 is gonna stay 1 through 8 in my opinion. I feel like 1 through 8 is gonna stay 1 through 8 in the East.
Okay.
As far as the Western Conference goes, this may be, well, I don't know if this is a hot take because I feel like I may have heard it 1 or 2 places, but like the Pelicans, I feel like the Pelicans might be able to because Zion, let's just talk about that for a second. I feel like Zion has been coming in and showing so far why he's #1 pick. Again, that very first game of him dropping 17, just 17 straight and just letting people know like I'm here type of thing, even though he looked uncomfortable and extremely nervous. Like he looked uncomfortable as fuck and extremely nervous. But at the same time, I just feel like the Pelicans could possibly make a run. But also I'm not gonna sleep on Dame Dollar and the Trailblazers because they're only in they're in 9th place right now and they're about 2.5 games back from the 8th seed. 2.5 games ain't shit. 2.5 games is literally nothing. Okay. But that's my breakdown as far as the conferences goes, and we can go deeper into the why, you know, the whys of what. But my 2 strongest are definitely going to be in the Western Conference, and they're the Pelicans and the Trailblazers. I feel like those 2 teams can you know make a decent run. If I had to pick in the East though, I believe that the Heat can get a higher seed. I believe the Heat can go as high as 2. And I believe that the Nets have the capability of going into like the top 4 or 5. And the reason why I'm saying that is because, look, Philly got a lot of fucking talent right now, but the way Embiid and Ben Simmons are clashing, it's not good for the Sixers. Even with all that talent, it's going that's something with your 2 main stars, Embiid being your best player and Sims being arguably your most talented player. Like, you get what I mean there? Like,
clashing though?
They've been clashing. It's all over the news reports. They've been clashing. But that could also, because I saw Stephen A say this, it could go to coaching. It could be their coach. Like Brett Brown is an offspring of the Popovich system. So with him being an offspring of that Spurs system, I believe he tried to come to the Sixers and, you know, treat them like the Spurs. The Sixers aren't the Spurs. 2 completely different organizations. 2 completely different owners. The setup is so fucking different. So, but as far as the East goes, those are my East picks. I feel like the Heat can get as high as the 2nd seed, and I feel like the Nets could get as high as 4 or 5, and I feel like the Sixers aren't going to drop out of 4 or 5, but I feel like the Sixers at best is going to be the 5th seed this year. 5 minutes of heat. 5 minutes of heat, or 4:30 of heat. Go ahead.
First off, I'm just going to say the Pelicans are not going to make it further than the Trailblazers. And the Trailblazers might end up being the 8th seed.
Okay.
That's what I feel about that. I just had to throw that out there. But I'm going to start off with the East. My sleepers are kind of different, kind of weird.
So you got the info right there.
I don't need that.
Oh, do you? Then?
I'm going to go with my 2 sleepers, Toronto and the Celtics. And the reason why, Siakam. He's going to make sure that they at least make it to the second round.
Siakam?
And you can't be sleep on the Celtics. Walker and Tatum and Brown. You can't sleep on them.
Jaylen Brown's dope.
They all dope.
Jason Tatum's dope.
And what just happened to Kobe?
Yeah.
Rest in peace. I'm just saying though.
R.I.P. Kobe. R.I.P. Kobe. You got it. 5 seconds. 8 seconds. All right. Gotta go.
Those are my sleepers. I think they pretty set for the seeding. I don't think they're going to drop any. Nets, I feel they might drop.
Okay. Because right now the Nets are. Oh, let me see.
Let me see. I think they're like 7th.
Let me just double check this real quick. Yeah. So
they're 7th.
They're the 7th seed. So you feel like the Nets could drop out the playoffs completely, or do you feel like the Nets? Do you feel like the Magic are gonna pass the Nets?
I can't say that the Magic is gonna pass the Nets. I can't say that. I think the Nets might drop and the Pacers might drop.
Out the playoffs? Or do you mean dropping their seeding?
In their seeding.
Okay. So you feel like the Pacers, you feel like the Nets is going to drop?
So the Magic might pass the Nets. Maybe.
I need a definitive answer here, Croney. This is a debate show.
I just don't have trust in just Kyrie. I'm just gonna throw it out there. Kyrie.
I thought you was a Kyrie man.
Kyrie is my favorite point guard.
I'm telling you, tell them.
Favorite point guard in the league.
Favorite point guard is Kyrie.
It's Kyrie, but
you don't feel like him alone.
He can't. Yeah, him alone. Like when Kevin Durant get there,
it's different.
I'm sorry, Giannis, but
KD is officially the best player in the league.
He is the best player in the league. Like Kevin Durant.
Oh, he said in the whole league.
Yes,
he didn't say just
Kevin
the East.
Durant is
just the whole league.
In the league, nobody can handle or do what Durant does on the court, and he's even more better as a defender now than he was. It's a wrap. He's the best player in the league. Even though he's not playing, but he's the best player.
We'll see. We'll definitely see next season.
Where was I at? You made me get off track.
You talk about Kyrie.
But Kyrie just he can't do it on his own with his own team. He's not a leader if you ask me.
I'm gonna say he got Allen, he got Jordan, he got Dinwiddie, he got
they got hoopers,
he got Joe Harris.
They probably will finish 8th seed, but I think they're going to fight for the 8th seed.
So you feel like when it's all said and done, the Brooklyn Nets is going to end up fighting for that 8th seed?
Yes.
You don't feel like they're going to stay like 7th or could even get?
No, I see the Pacers winning more games than them, so I see them probably ending up 7th. You got to
explain it a little bit.
I just see them at 7 just from the play. Like I said, Kyrie. It just seems to be just Kyrie, and him gelling with a team just doesn't work for me. Like if I watch them play, it's not even.
When he was with the Celtics, when Kyrie was with
he do too much.
When he was with the Celtics, that was just a whole lot of turmoil. The moment he got in that locker room, it was a lot.
Look what the Celtics did before he got there.
Facts.
If he would have gelled right with them,
facts.
And that same, I don't really know the word for it, just that same mindset as them.
Mm-hmm.
They could have.
But Isaiah Thomas was like a driving kick type of point guard. Like
that's
he also would give you buckets though.
That's my point though. Why Kyrie can't just mix it up a little more?
Because he's a shooter.
That's okay.
He got that.
You gotta take those points and those shots are gonna come down once Durant come back, regardless.
Facts.
So if you want to literally try to make a run, you need to dish it more to try to get more out of your players.
Facts.
That's all I'm gonna say.
Now, what about your West?
But my sleepers pretty much are Celtics and the Raptors. Watch out for them.
You didn't explain the Raptors.
I did.
Oh,
My fault. You stuck me down there with the
my fault.
7th AC.
My fault. Explain your Raptors pick.
Raptors, they're on a 15-game winning streak right now. I don't feel that Kawhi helped them get a chip. I think they helped Kawhi get a chip.
Ooh. So you're telling me, and I'm doing a Ray J challenge with my hat right now, trying to figure out how to get it on my head properly so it feels comfortable. But you just said that you feel like the Raptors gave Kawhi the ring and not the other way around.
Yes.
Kawhi scored like the second or third most points by a single person in a playoff series. Maybe first, like he scored like in the top 3 for the most points in a playoff, like in the playoffs by a single person. Those shots that he made, like the shot over Philly, the crazy shot over Philly.
The luckiest shot in the NBA.
So,
history, bro.
So
history.
No team has won a chip
and who
without
took them
some
there?
sort of luck.
And who took them to our way to Game 7? The Sixers. And what did you just say? The Sixers was what, gonna stay down there by what, the 6th seed, 5th seed?
This year, we're not talking about last year. Last year they had a little bit more gel to them. Last year they had a little bit more gel to them. And again,
no disrespect to Kawhi.
People expected the Sixers to be in the finals, either the Sixers or the Bucks. Nobody thought the Raptors.
Kawhi is one of the greatest players in the NBA today. I give y'all that. But y'all can't sleep on that the Raptors are doing the same freaking thing they did last year.
Not as good, though.
Now, how ain't they? Please explain to me how ain't they? If I'm not mistaken, they're doing better than they did last year.
I feel like when they had Kawhi there, they had a better anchor. They had
experience for the playoffs to finish games.
I feel like they had a better,
That's what they had.
I feel like they had a better anchor. I feel like they had like a better.
That's all they had.
They had a better anchor player. They had somebody like, again, Kawhi is clutch.
Like, that defense. Is that what you going to? The offense.
I'm talking about him being clutch though. Kawhi is clutch. Like the shots he was making in the playoffs last year, he's clutch. Kawhi is clutch. I hope you're not counting the luckiest shot in NBA history. That's one of them. Oh my God. Even when the Spurs played the Heat in the finals, Kawhi was on LeBron's ass. He was making clutch defensive plays. Do you know
what LeBron averaged that series? Don't say that. Do you know what LeBron averaged that series?
I'm just saying.
Do you know what LeBron 27, 8 and 8?
I'm just
saying. Do you know what LeBron averaged that series, bro? He shut who down, bro?
What I'm saying is,
oh my God,
didn't Kawhi win the finals MVP? Was it that the team that broke up the Heat?
I mean, he won it.
Wasn't that the team that broke up the Heat?
Yeah.
Wasn't LeBron in Cleveland the next year?
He didn't shut down LeBron. LeBron still averaged.
I'm not saying he shut down LeBron. What I said was clutchness. We're talking about being clutch. And what I said was when he was with the Raptors in that playoff run, he had a team that was clutch offensively and defensively.
He was.
When he met with LeBron and he met the Spurs, met the Heat in the finals that year, he was being clutch defensively. Did I say he's locked LeBron down the whole time?
This is my point. Hold on. This is my point. Let me finish my point.
Go ahead.
I gave you your time. Let me finish my point.
Go ahead.
He was that clutch player for the playoffs. That's what he was there for. But who's to say they don't have a clutch player that will be clutch? We don't know yet.
You're right, and that's why they're a sleeper, because we don't know. We don't know because Kyle Lowry's history in the playoffs with him being the leader on the team ain't necessarily been the best.
If I'm not mistaken, ain't he injured right now?
Who, Kyle Lowry? I'm not 100% sure about that. We'll have to get to it.
And they just win 15 straight. I think this second half of the season is going to be dangerous for anybody who plays it.
But here's the thing, right? A lot of people do sleep on Siakam to begin with, and I'm not going to sit up here and say that I don't sleep on Siakam, because I do. Again, I need to see more from Siakam. The past two seasons, he's been phenomenal. He's been excellent. The seasons before that, he was building up. I'll give you that. He's been building up. But I feel like Siakam, Give me one more season of this, of Siakam doing this, and I won't have any more sleep.
I don't even think you need a season. All I think you need is for him to show what he can do in these next playoffs. That's going to define if he's one of those. If he's a star player or just an all-star. You know, if he's a, you know what I'm saying?
Let me see what you do in these playoffs. If you can do some damage in these playoffs, then I feel like, yeah. Like let's say you can carry this Raptors team.
Exactly.
And you know what? This might be setting the bar a little bit high, but damn near give me Eastern Conference Finals
for Toronto.
I
like it, but I just don't think you can sleep on Philly.
Philly right now is kind of rocking me to sleep on their own. That doesn't mean just naturally sleeping on Philly. Philly's doing it to themselves.
Yeah, but it's a 7-game series is different from a regular season game.
100% right. Again,
you know
in the playoffs, people turn the fuck up. You got playoff Rondo, you got playoff LeBron,
don't I hope we see playoff Rondo.
You got playoff Kawhi. Like in the playoffs, people turn the fuck up.
Well, my West, we pretty much have the same sleepers. I just don't think that the Blazers are gonna get higher than they seed, and I don't think the Pelicans are gonna pass them in record-wise. So they're not gonna make the playoffs. But those are my sleepers. Pretty much the same.
The Blazers and the Pelicans?
Dame Dollars is just...
It's something about Dame's. Dame's just cold, bro. And people like, I ain't gonna say people are asleep.
Him and his partner in crime.
McCollum. I'm not gonna say people are asleep, but people aren't, I don't believe, necessarily all the way awake, if you get what I mean. Like, I still don't feel like people have 100% waking up to Damian Lillard, but also I feel like that has to do with where he plays. Like, you got to think about it. Portland's a small, I guess you could say a small city team. Like, because you got big city teams. You got Chicago, you got LA, you got New York, you got Miami. These are big city teams. Yeah. Like bigger markets as far as like the way they build. Like, you get what I mean? Yeah. And Dame isn't necessarily a big market like Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook. I'm talking about the shine that he gets.
Okay.
I'm talking about the shine that he gets. I don't feel like he gets enough shine because of the market that he plays in. But again, he loves playing for the Blazers. So what can you really say about that though? But think about it like this, and I just kind of thought of something, and I'm pretty sure somebody else that had this thought before. But what if Greg Oden and Brandon Roy actually stayed healthy to play with Damian Lillard and LaMarcus Aldridge? Think about that. I don't know who the small forward would be. I'm kind of shaky on that one. But Dame, Roy, somebody at the small forward, Aldridge and Oden.
I don't know, because I wasn't that big on Oden, even though he's from hometown, you know what I'm saying?
And he went to Ohio State.
But he didn't seem to have that much skill like that.
Oden was drafted #1 overall. That man was cold.
He was just extremely big and he was strong, but
he wasn't strong enough.
He wasn't. You know what I'm saying? He didn't seem to have moves like that to me. But
But again, personally, I felt like that I felt like the Blazers could look at a chip by now. That was like they started five personally.
After so many years, it's bit that I don't know, man.
You don't think so?
I can't say I agree with that. I can't say I agree with it, but I mean, I can't say it's not a good case. But I think off of the what ifs, you know.
Say let us. Matter of fact, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make a post and I'm gonna put up some sort of poll on Facebook. But I want y'all to let us know what y'all think. Like, do y'all think that those four plus a fifth person would have gotten a ring by now? That starting five would have got a ring by now. Personally, I think they would, because LaMarcus is cold. B. Roy, I wish a nigga would sleep on Brandon Roy, because Brandon Roy was a dog. Dame Lillard, and then Greg Oden didn't even got to really score like that. Just lock down the fucking middle.
That is true.
With those three alone, Greg Oden ain't got to do shit but lock down that middle.
I don't know though, because with the game today, I don't know, man, because the way the game is played right now, I don't even think he'll hold up like that.
Who?
Like, let's say if he was playing the Rock, like they had to hit the Rockets or something, like they'll tear their ass up.
Something.
Like I don't know, man. That's hard.
Say, hold on, wait a second.
That's hard.
Did you say the Rockets?
Yeah, like
you did that on purpose, didn't you?
Nah, I didn't do that on purpose.
You did it on purpose.
It just that game came to mind.
Because we will not
just
have Houston Rockets slander in this
them just
place.
now getting rid of Capella. You know what I'm saying? I'm thinking
we're gonna talk about that.
That system would just destroy Odin and Roy, like bad.
Again, we're gonna leave it up to y'all.
You know what I'm saying?
We're gonna leave it up to y'all, and y'all let us know what y'all think. Like, again, I believe they would have killed that shit. But that's our sleepers. Those his sleepers. Y'all got my sleepers. We'll be right back here after this ad break and getting a word from our sponsor, the Anchor app. We'll be right back here on Talking Sports with Wei and Croney. How's everybody doing? It's your boy Wei, host of the Wei's World podcast.
And your girl Shanny the Shooter, co-host of the Wei's World podcast.
You can catch the Wei's World podcast every Monday through Wednesday by at least 3 p.m. on one of those days on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, everywhere that you get your local podcasts, and now
YouTube. Yeah.
We want to say thank you all for listening to the Wei's World podcast, and stay tuned for much more, because officially every episode from season 2 of the Wei's World podcast and every episode of season 2 of the Wei's World Drunkcast will now be on YouTube. So once again, thank you all so much for listening, and stay tuned. Coming off of that ad break, and trust me, as the episodes go on, he gonna be the one doing some of this shit as the episodes go on. But again, we try to get the feel, like we did with the first episode of the Wei's World podcast, like we did with the first episode of the Drunkcast. Me and my co-host like to get the feel of everything first before we start giving y'all this heat. Before we start, just start letting y'all have it, because we some wild ass people. If I do say so myself. But next up, the XFL is back. Now, if you're a wrestling fan like I am, you knew the XFL was coming for a while now. Vince McMahon, owner of the WWE, back in, I believe it was 2001, 2, something like that. Like, hold on, let's look up the original date for the XFL really quick for you all. I don't know why I didn't particularly have that one. That stat. Let me see here. 2 seconds. There we go. Yeah, so back in 2001. So back in 2001, they literally had one season, and it was horrible. Let's just not even bullshit. The first season of the XFL back in 2001 was a crock of shit. Was so fucking horrible. The rules, the teams, the announcing, it just was like a lot of pomp and circumstance. It was basically WWE on a football field, pretty much. But this time around, the XFL has really impressed. In my opinion, they've really impressed. I feel like they've come in to do a service, which is fill the gap between the seasons, or give us some football in between, the NFL seasons. And yeah, we're gonna discuss the first week. The first game was the DC Defenders versus the Seattle Dragons. We both had a chance to watch all the games. So what did you think about the first game?
I can't really say a lot.
I'm gonna say, hold on, really quick. Before he gives you that, let me explain just a few of the different rules that the XFL uses than the NFL. So with the XFL, kickoffs are at the 30-yard line. And you have to wait 3 seconds before anybody can move if you're like not the kicker or you're not the receiver. Out of bounds kickoffs are placed at the 45-yard line. So if you kick the ball off, goes out of bounds, so you get placed at the 45-yard line. If it touches the end zone, then it gets put at the 15-yard line instead. They also have 3 different ways to get extra points. If you kick a 2-yard field goal, you get 1 point. If you kick a 5-yard field goal, you get 2 points. And if you kick a 10-yard field goal, you get 3 points. Just a couple of different rules in the NFL. But yeah, first game was the DC Defenders versus the Seattle Dragons.
The DC Defenders were one of the better teams of the weekend, as you can tell by the score.
Speak up a little bit.
The DC Defenders. Is that better?
No, I'm saying use your outside voice. Use your outside voice.
Well, the DC Defenders, they're one of the better teams over the weekend.
Mm-hmm.
But I have to say first, this is the first weekend.
In the first game. This was the first game of the new XFL.
But I'm just saying for now as a whole, it was the first weekend.
Yep.
Some shown some really good play. Some show some trash. But we're going to get to the DC Defenders. Yeah, they were good. They went against a team that didn't look like they had it. The defense looked bad. And
you was talking about their secondary.
The secondary of Seattle. The secondary of Seattle.
This wasn't good.
I see why you in the XFL.
Damn.
I just gotta keep it real. Not saying I can do better, but I just gotta go by the eye test, and it looked really bad. But like I said, it's the first week. I'm pretty sure people had jitters. People, were excited.
It was nervousness.
So like I said, it's the first week, so you really can't judge much that's in the beginning. But yeah, that's pretty much my take. I wish I would have saw more running from the DC, but they destroyed Seattle. That's my take on that game.
Definitely destroyed Seattle. Because the score of the first game was 31-19, and I want to look up one thing real quick just to see. Yeah. So something about the DC Defenders that really popped out to me, and I wanted to double check before I said it. Cardell Jones, again from Ohio State, my favorite football program, favorite basketball programs of all time. Cardell Jones from Ohio State is the quarterback of the DC Defenders. And Cardell Jones had his time in the NFL. If I'm not mistaken, once again, he was drafted by the Houston Texans, or he played with the Texans at one point in time. No, matter of fact, no, I was wrong. He was with the Bills. That's what it was. Because I remember having Madden 16, and he was the backup. He was the backup QB. So he was on the Bills, and then he was with the Chargers. He was on the practice squad for Seattle in 2019, and then now he's in the XFL. But I don't think Cardell Jones is like trash or anything like that. Like I feel like Cardell Jones is cool. Like in his first game, he was dropping bombs. Like the first game we saw, he was dropping bombs, good passing. He had good pocket awareness. Again, he was also able to use his legs and scramble. Cardell Jones put in work. Again, there wasn't really any notable names on the Seattle side that I could think of, or that that really caught that made me think. But 31-19, again, a good opening, and the DC was the home team, so it was a good game. It was a good game. DC came out, literally defended home territory first day out.
It seemed like the crowd looked good too out there too, so I give them that.
They was, and apparently with the XFL, they beat the Alliance, the American Alliance Football League. I believe that's the AFL or the old one. Remember the other football league that was around for like not even a full year. It literally cut like halfway through. But in the first week of the XFL, like 3.3 at the height of the game, 4 million people. At the height of the game, 4 million people were watching the XFL.
It's doing good.
You get what I'm saying? The attendance was pretty decent. It was spread out evenly amongst every team, like, or every game. It was really decent. Like, the first game was really, really good. The next one was the Houston Roughnecks versus the LA Wildcats. The QB for LA, I believe his name was Croney. I really liked LA. Like, even though LA lost 37-17, I really liked LA. Like, I really enjoyed the play that LA did. Like, I really enjoyed it. It didn't result like, and I feel like I picked I'm in the process of picking my XFL team. It's between the DC Defenders and the LA Wildcats. I'm not even gonna start. Like, I really liked LA.
Of course, you're gonna pick the winners, though, right?
No, LA Wildcats lost.
Now I'm talking about once and take the average fan. If you got two, you going trying to pick the one that
But again, that's what I'm saying. But they connect to me because I feel like it's something about LA. I feel like it's something about the LA Wildcats. I just like the team. I do. I just like their team. The Houston Roughnecks though got in their ass. Again, another 37-17, a 20-point win. The Houston Roughnecks defense was amazing. The Houston Roughnecks defense was smacking boys. Didn't we see like a helmet to helmet hit?
Almost. It was almost there. It was right. You know what I'm saying? It was right there.
It was close. It was almost close. Like, but the Houston Roughnecks got some hitters. I'm not even gonna start. Like, another game that I really enjoyed fucking watching. Like, I really had a good time watching these games. Like, it's not that I don't have a good time watching the NFL games. It's a lot more teams. I don't be having the time to watch everybody. I just watch my Colts.
But you can't where you at, you know what I'm saying?
Well, I'm gonna say you can watch the highlights and shit online, but I enjoy watching my Colts, and every now and then I pop on the Steelers game because my first football team that I liked was the Steelers. I was a Steelers fan before I was a Colts fan. But the next game up.
I didn't say my take.
Oh, my fault. I keep doing this. My fault. Go ahead, bro. Again, we working through the keys.
Like I said, it's the first week, so I ain't got much to say anyway. But I will say for Houston, that might be my team. for the XFL. I'm just saying, like you said, defense.
He's a defensive person.
They ran the ball. I just want to say a little more than DC, because DC I was leaning towards, and then when I see running the football, I felt like, okay, that's my team. Just watching them do it, I guess you could say. So yeah, that's my team, Houston. Period. LA. I'm glad y'all got the Lakers and the Clippers, because that's over.
And the Chargers.
And the Chargers. And the Rams.
And the Rams.
God damn it. They got them all. Ooh, they got my team.
And the Galaxy. And the Kings. LA, y'all good. Y'all don't need the Wildcats, but they don't sleep on them.
Yeah, this is an add-on for the XFL,
But you gotta hit LA. If you got like a new league, LA gotta be one of your cities. Like, what?
Right. So yeah, that's my take pretty much, because that's who I'm rocking with for the season is Houston because of the defense.
Okay. The next one, like I was about to say, the next one is the worst game, I guess you can say, or the worst performance by a single team. The New York Guardians versus the Tampa Bay Vipers. Score 23-3. Let me just 23-3.
New York needed that.
New York did need that, but after the Giants played this fucking season and the Jets, so New York definitely needed that. Like they definitely needed that because they NFL teams are not particularly the best. They're kind of ass. So if they can get an XFL team that's pretty decent, then fuck it. Like, fuck it. If they get an XFL team that's pretty decent, then fuck it.
Just saying it was already pushed in.
No,
it was that low.
But again, the score was 23-3. And I want to actually touch on a little bit more when it comes to them really quick. Let me see. Bro.
Oh, my bad.
No, you good.
I'm trying to light this shit up.
Because I actually want to look, again, with here's the thing, right? When you do a sports show like this, ESPN and everybody got staffs of agents that looks up the stats and can just drop material and shit like that.
Yeah, doing our own.
We're doing this all on our own. So again, this is kind of on the fly, but
we'll get it.
Exactly. So first off, Matt McGloin, who wasn't a good QB in the NFL, but actually again has been a pretty decent QB from the first game in the XFL. You got Joe Horn Jr. You got a couple of Demetrius Cox. Again, I know that name, the safety. He used to play for the Eagles. You got quite a few names here that used to play in the NFL, just like with the rest of the teams, but this one kind of stands out a little bit more. The one that I'm looking for right now is to see their head coach. To see who they're fucking coached by, if I can find it. And wow. For the first time, the source does not come through. How the fuck don't y'all list their head coach? Fuck it. It's fine. I made my point. The New York Guardians trounced that ass again from good QB play. Receiver play was decent. The run game was decent. New York, I can say, looked like the most balanced team by far this weekend.
I can give you that.
They look like the most balanced team by far this weekend. With DC, it was more of a passing game. With Houston, their win was more of a running game. The New York Guardians, their game was more of a balance, was more of a pass hit. It was more of a balanced game in order for them to get that win. And Tampa Bay, what the fuck did you do, dog? Hold on, because I'm about to have to take here. This is your first showing in front of your fans. Now, mind you, right? Majority of Tampa teams are ass. The Buccaneers aren't really that good. Tell me I'm lying.
I can't say ass.
The Tampa Bay Lightning in the NHL,
I can't say ass,
are somewhat decent. The Tampa Bay Rays and the MLB, again, they have their on and off years. The Rays and the MLB have definitely had their on and off years. Those are the three major Tampa teams that I can think of right now. It's like the Lightning, the Rays. I believe that's it. The Lightning, the Rays, and then the Buccaneers.
Buccaneers ain't just trash. No, just trash.
I feel like the Bucks is ass, man, and the Bucks have been ass. The Bucks are ass, bro.
Without the interceptions, you average like 2 a game. Without those interceptions and that just more than just a slight fuck up in quarterback play, more than a slight. But
what the fuck has Jameis been doing?
You know what I'm saying? Without them turnovers.
Jameis ain't been doing shit, man. Jameis done lost his fucking mind.
We got that's a talk for another day.
That's a talk for a different day.
That's a talk for another day.
Jameis done lost his fucking mind, man. I got some words for Jameis Winston, but
because they were in a lot of games, turnovers, man.
They gave it away. They gave it away, and it all comes from what? The play on the field. New York Guardians destroyed the Tampa Bay Vipers. Y'all gotta step it up, Tampa Bay. I do not want to see another 3-point game. Please. Next game, at least drop 15. At least have a defensive game. If y'all not gonna score a lot, have a decent defense. Y'all didn't have shit this game.
All I have to say is I agree with everything that you said. All I can really say is Tampa might be the bottom of the league.
So far, they are.
I think they're gonna stay there.
Got you. So the last game of the first week was the St. Louis Battlehawks versus the Dallas Renegades. This was a good game. The only thing I will say is Dallas I don't see why y'all picked those colors for Dallas because they look like Titans uniforms. Beyond that, though, it was a decent game, but I'm about to get Stephen A. I'm about to be Stephen A. here for 2 seconds. We've agreed that I'm the Max Kellerman in his Stephen A. But I'm about to get Stephen A. here for 2 seconds because I have something to say about it.
That's the alarm.
That was an alarm clock that he had set up. Dallas, the fuck are you doing? You're supposed to be putting on for your city. The Cowboys couldn't put on for Dallas.
Let's not get into that.
Dallas, like, what is it about playing in fucking Dallas? I don't get it. Yes, y'all got 3 rings. Yes, Troy Aikman, Michael Irvin, Emmitt Smith, that O-line, that defense. Fucking, what was his name? I just literally had his name. Primetime. Deion Sanders. The names the list could go on for what Dallas.
Prime time. You could have just left it at that.
I say prime time. Like the list of names that Dallas has had over the years, like the legacy that Dallas has had, y'all should be so much better, especially after everything that was put into the team. Y'all got Zeke.
But this ain't even the only time though, because yeah, back then was a good team, but even with Romo, they were a good enough. They should have been a good enough
Romo,
team
Bryant, and Murray
to at least make one Super Bowl.
Romo, Bryant, and Murray. There's Bryant.
Those are talks for another day.
For another day. But once again, Dallas, 15-9. Now, this was a pretty even game. This was a pretty even game. So I'm not gonna harsh on y'all too much because this is again the first week. But again, St. Louis's play was again obviously better. The passing offense for St. Louis was better. I just feel like this was a more highly contested game than the other 3 games. Even though the Houston and LA game was a very hard hitting game until the end, I just feel like this honestly was the best possibly pure football game of the 4.
Just what is it defensively is the reason why, or
defensively and offensively? I feel like I said about the New York Guardians, I feel like both teams were. I feel like the New York Guardians is a balanced team. Yes, I feel like the St. Louis Battlehawks and the Dallas Renegades, top to bottom, are balanced teams. Just like I said with the New York.
Okay, well, I'll say this then.
Go
I have
ahead.
a question for you.
Yes, sir.
So, do you think Dallas will be able to beat Houston?
Do I think Dallas will be able to beat
Just
Houston?
from the play from the first week?
No. From the play of the first week, I do not believe Dallas has a chance to beat Houston.
Do you think St. Louis has a chance to beat Houston after the first week?
Yes. I liked St. Louis's QB play, and I liked their running backs. So yes, I like their back play.
I was going to take on that.
Yeah, I like their QB play and their back play, but with the defense of the Houston Roughnecks, I feel like the defense could close up that running game. So the running back play might not be able to come into factor, so they might have to lean on the QB.
Both of those teams only scored, well, Dallas only had 9 and St. Louis only had, 15?
But that's what I was saying with the 15-9 game. I feel like it was a matchup. Like I feel like they matched evenly.
So if they were to play anybody like Houston, their defense would have to be.
The defense would have to increase. The defense would have to be better.
Significantly. Like, it would have to be. I just don't see that.
You don't see it?
But like I said, it's the first week, so
let me ask you.
Give me to the 3rd week, and I have
a better estimation.
A better estimation on how I really feel about these teams and the whole league, because it just started. It was a great success for them.
A perfect
but
success.
It still has to continue for a season, so I just need time.
Like the Alliance American Football League, like they folded halfway through. So if y'all can make it through the first season and it be a good season and come back for a second one, the XFL has arrived, y'all.
It has arrived.
It has arrived.
I definitely do that.
So now I'm gonna ask you some questions as far as these teams go. Do you feel so out of every game that we've seen so far, you feel like the Houston Roughnecks can take it all?
It's the first week, but out of the first week, I like them. I like that.
Okay.
They caught my eye. Like,
if we had a Houston, DC, because it's an Eastern Conference and a Western Conference. So in the East, you got DC, Seattle, Tampa, and St. Louis. In the West, you got Dallas. DC, New York, Tampa Bay, and St. Louis. And in the West, you got Seattle, Houston, LA, and Dallas. So if we see a DC Houston, finals between the two, who do you think would win? Because again, we watched all the footage. So between the two,
Houston.
You think Houston would take it?
Defense.
Okay. Any sleeper picks? Like anybody?
DC's secondary wasn't great.
It wasn't. I'll give you that.
It wasn't great. So, from off the first week, I have to say Houston.
Do you feel like any of these teams could bounce back? Could bounce back off of this week? Any teams that took a loss this week? Do you feel like any of them could bounce back?
The only team that
Between Seattle, LA, Tampa Bay, and Dallas.
I give you LA.
LA can make a bounce back. And do you
LA.
And do you think, and which team out of the winners do you think will go on to be 2-0?
2-0?
Yeah, because right now, DC, Houston, New York,
I
and
need
St.
to see
Louis.
the games. I need to see who they playing. Do it off not knowing who they playing.
Well, hold on. We can find this information. We could definitely find this information for you. So let's see. The next set of games in the XFL schedule. Here we go. Week 2. So in week 2, you got the New York Guardians versus the DC Defenders, the Tampa Bay Vipers versus the Seattle Dragons, the Dallas Renegades versus the LA Wildcats, and the Battlehawks versus the Houston Roughnecks. So based off of this, Tampa Bay and Seattle.
Houston got the better chance of going 2-0.
Tampa Bay and Seattle both lost. So one of them is going to go 0-2, one of them is going to go 1-1.
So which one want me to answer first?
Dallas and LA, same thing. Seattle versus Houston, and yeah.
Houston got a better chance of going 2-0 over DC.
And then DC and New York.
Because DC got New York, and New York can probably win a game against them convincingly.
I feel like DC's offense is. I feel like DC's offense is overpowered. I feel like DC's offense is stronger than what New York brings. I feel like New York is balanced as fuck, but I feel like
But that's what I'm saying though. That's why I feel New York is capable. I can't say upset, but I think New York is capable of winning that game. That's what I'm saying. So DC got the easier chance of going 1-1
than Houston.
Now, which ones?
So you telling me you think Houston's about to trounce St. Louis?
They're about to kill them.
Okay. All right. Okay. So y'all know next week when we come back to y'all and we talk about this again, and DC is 2-0. I feel like DC might end up being the team, but LA is my sleeper. Like he said, LA is my sleeper pick. I feel like LA could pull out the West. And if they pull out the West, they mean they're going to knock off your Roughnecks. Mm-hmm. It's going to be a rematch from week 1.
That'd be nice though, wouldn't it?
That would be cold. That would be cold. But that's, again, we just gave y'all 30 goddamn minutes of XFL talk. 27 in some seconds. But we just gave y'all a lot of time with some XFL talk. Mm-hmm. You can see, this is what happens when you get talking sports with Wei and Croney. You get what I'm saying? This is what happens when you get this. But we'll be right back here because the next thing we're going to talk about before we get up out of here is the All-Star break.
The All-Star break, baby.
So stay tuned.
Yeah.
Stay tuned on Talking Sports with Wei and Croney. We'll be right back with you. And now we come to the creme de la resistance. No. Now we come to the final topic. The one that we both actually been waiting to get into because we got a lot to say.
All-Star weekend.
All-Star Weekend.
First off,
Take it away. Take it
First
away.
off.
Here you go. Take it away.
if you don't know, you're going to get hit. They will be here next year. In the hometown. If you got to save, put your tax money in some savings or something, or make sure you get your girl that's going to get some tax money, whatever the case. Everybody in the city better be there.
The All-Star game coming to Indy.
It is coming.
It's about to be wild. It's about to be crazy.
But go ahead, bro. I just had to get that out.
No, you're good. So, first things first. You got the All-Star teams. Team LeBron
King
versus
James, baby.
Team Giannis.
All right.
So we're just gonna kind of dig in. If y'all don't know, we're just gonna go over who's on what team and then go from there. So the starting five for LeBron's team is obviously LeBron, AD, Kawhi, Luka, and James Harden. On his bench, he got Damian Lillard, Ben Simmons, Nikola Jokic, Jason Tatum, Chris Paul, Russell Westbrook, and Domantas Sabonis from the Pacers. On Team Giannis, you got Joel Embiid, Pascal Siakam, Giannis, Kemba Walker, and Trae Young as a starting five. Then you got Middleton, Adebayo, Gobert, Butler, Lowry, surprisingly Ingram, and Mitchell on his bench. Go ahead.
Why surprisingly? Ingram deserves to be in the All-Star game.
You believe so?
I know so.
Again,
You wouldn't be sitting here saying that the Pelicans would be able to get that 8 seed if it wasn't for Ingram.
I'm thinking more excited.
Yeah, but Zion just got there. They wouldn't have the wins they got without Ingram.
Factuals. The only reason why I'm saying, like, I feel like why Ingram is because I feel like there may be another player.
Like Ja Morant.
Not even Ja Morant.
Then who else?
Not even Ja Morant. Hold on.
What?
Hold on. Let me go through my head. Break it up. Let me see.
Fuck. He ain't gonna find nobody else.
I know, cause no, cause I was actually thinking, fuck. No, I can't.
Yeah, of course you
Yeah,
can.
wow.
Of course you can.
Hold on. I have to go to this statue. Hold on, no. Open it up. I have to go to my list. I have to go to my list really quick. I have to go to my list really fast. Give me like 2 seconds. I have to. In the meantime, go ahead, talk, Croney. Give your little takes on the two teams and how you feel about them.
First of all, I love the draft. I actually sat and watched the draft, and
Giannis was talking shit, by the way.
it really seems like that it was planned. That teams were actually playing down what players they wanted to pick. They both really had a mindset of making sure they would be big and defensive. But LeBron took some of Giannis players that he wanted, and vice versa. I'm going for LBJ, of course. Always when it comes to anything basketball, but I really do think his team will overpower Antetokounmpo's team. That's just my personal opinion. I mean, of course he had to pick AD. I don't even see why he wouldn't anyway. And he has Kawhi Leonard and the Joker, and he got James Harden, he got the defense all over the court, and then he got James that can go off of 60 real quick if they just want to lay back and just D up. I mean,
I got you. I'm
going for LBJ. Man.
You just feel like it's just a mismatch?
It's just a mismatch. When it's all said and done, it's just a mismatch, especially with the scoring, the inside game, maybe a little bit Giannis because it's Giannis, but shooting the ball is going to be ridiculous. Oh, and I think the MVP of the All-Star game will be. Do I really want to go there? Just a stretch.
While he thinking, I got you. So, some of the All-Star snubs, Devin Booker,
Okay, that's a good case.
Bradley Beal.
But what seed are the Suns?
We're talking about snubs. Paul George was snubbed. Now,
He barely played.
hold on. He's played well enough to get back to the big stage. He's averaging about 23.5 points per game. Again, they felt like he didn't play enough. I get you. Kyrie is another All-Star snub. 26.8 points a game.
He was hurt for a while.
6.6 assists per game.
He was hurt for a minute.
Again, he has just played in 18 games this season as well, but again, that's good. You got Malcolm Brogdon off the Pacers. Again, I feel like he could. And then you got Cat, Jaylen Brown, and then what's her name? It's held in Chicago. You can even give Zach
But
LaVine one.
you can't throw them the East and the West though, bro. They don't count when it comes
But
to
what
picking.
it's a
It's
mix up.
only a certain amount that you can get though. When they pick the people that you're able to draft,
Mhm.
it's only that conference and then they draft. So it's only a certain
But-
amount of
but-
each conference. So you said who's better than Ingram? You got to give me people in the West.
Devin
that would
Booker.
take- That's the only one.
I'm about to say if I had
And
to
then
give
I
you,
said, what seed is that nigga though?
even if they like
The
what, like
seed matters
like
though, bro.
14th to 15th, I'll give you that. But as far as again, this is the same thing with the Phillip Rivers talk. It is about
It
your.
don't, but
it is
they
about-
count that in the All-Star game.
It's about your stats. It's about what you are personally doing. And I feel like I feel like he did enough to get.
I give it to you though. I do give you the fact.
I feel like
that
he did.
hooped enough.
to get an
But
All-Star.
his team doing so bad and seeing that Ingram right there in the hunt for that eighth is gonna give him that bump, especially when Zion ain't been there and he been holding it down. So of course he's gonna get the All-Star vote. But it's your take. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. You're fine. But no, I just feel like Devin Booker should have been in the All-Star game, where he could have been somebody to replace Brandon Ingram. That like it's a good case for him to replace Brandon Ingram. That's why I kind of said it like that. Like Brandon Ingram, like it kind of came out of nowhere for me. Again, I've watched a few Pelicans games and I've seen Ingram go off. I haven't watched enough to get a full body of work. The same thing like we were talking about with Pascal Siakam. I don't have enough of a body of work of me watching you for me to be able to give you, I guess, your proper respect. But as far as between the two teams, I'm just gonna say it like this: Giannis, I guess, went for defense and field goal percentage, which, okay, you want people that can defend their position and that you know are definitely capable of making shots. Cool. But LeBron has the highest scoring volume of people on his team. Like again, let's just go through his starting five: LBJ, AD, Kawhi, Luka, and Harden. Luka's damn near putting up like 32 a day. Like Luka's putting up better numbers than Larry fucking Bird right now.
But
Like,
Embiid will keep him down a little.
but do you think Luka ain't playing center?
Well, why would?
It's gonna be AD playing center.
You think AD gonna play center? Why would they play AD center if you don't like to play center? They gonna play him. He went to the.
It's the All-Star game.
Exactly. So they gonna play him as his position. Not no center.
Okay.
You should come on.
Okay. It's the All-Star fucking game. It's in the All-Star game before. I've seen fucking
And his coach is their coach.
I've seen shooting guards fucking tip off at the fucking All-Star.
LeBron gonna be the point guard.
Fuck no.
LeBron's
fuck
gonna be
no.
the starting
Fuck
point
no.
guard. They gonna light their ass up.
So who gonna be the center then? Luka?
It's gonna be
Kawhi?
It's gonna be Luka.
What?
Oh no, I'm thinking of where is he at? I'm thinking of Joker. I'm thinking Joker was.
Was it the starting five?
was
No.
the starting five.
No, that's what I'm saying. Who gonna play center?
Oh man, it's It's gonna
Luka can't play center.
It's gonna have to be AD.
Harden
They're
just
gonna take him out. I don't know how
Harden just tipped off at center for the first time.
I guess they're gonna have to put AD. But yeah, LeBron definitely gonna be point guard.
Okay.
It's gonna be LeBron point guard, James shooting guard, small forward small forward
Luka.
Luka.
Power forward,
Power
Kawhi.
forward gonna be Kawhi for the defense.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Like, and then center gonna be AD. So if you put AD up against Embiid, that's gonna be a brittle ass battle because both of y'all got brittle ass bones. But we're not gonna
AD gonna destroy him. You know he is.
Ed is in Chicago. Ed is in his hometown. It's in Chicago. He about to go the fuck off.
Bro.
AD about to go off. But
how many lives you think we're gonna see? Which team gonna have the most lives? The most alley-oops?
Team LBJ. Team LeBron. That's a lobbing ass team right there. Like that. Like Simmons handles. LeBron handles. Westbrook handles. Harden handles. Fuck you talking about? CP3 handles. Like Lillard handles. They have a ball down. It's gonna be. This could be a good game. It's gonna be a good game. It could, because you basically got defense versus offense. That's pretty much what the fuck this is. It's a defensive team versus an offensive team. If we have,
you can't forget about Jason Tatum, though, man.
Jason Tatum is an offensive player. Defense versus offense. That's literally what the fuck this is.
Whoa.
NB is a defensive player. Siakam can score, but again, he's a good defensive player. Gobert defense. Butler defense. Adebayo.
So who you picking to win? Giannis now?
If I had to right now, just based off of what we got down here, or like that the roster, I'm gonna pick Team LBJ. It just wouldn't make any sense to go against LeBron right now, even though this could be. Now this ain't gonna be a low scoring All-Star game, but this could be like an actual basketball game. You know what I mean? This could be like a regular season game or some shit, because they're not gonna play as hard. But I just feel like the defensive matchup versus the offensive matchup is gonna be ridiculous. This is gonna be fun.
Giannis' team is gonna have more intensity though.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like they defensive intensity for the game. Like Giannis hate to lose. So Giannis.
Look at their squad. They got Mitchell. They got Butler, Lowry.
Yep.
Like
Walker.
Those players.
Mitchell.
Man, I get it.
You see what he did there.
So
He went for efficiency and aggression. That's what he went for. Ain't nothing wrong with that at all. Like people been talking about Giannis's pick compared to LeBron,
100%.
and again, on paper, it looks a little bit different. But
Only thing is though, the difference between the two teams, if you ask me, from just looking at it right now, is Russell Westbrook and Trae Young.
Why so?
Like I just think the way the teams are set up,
Those are the X factors.
those are the two that should have been switched. You
Mm.
see what I'm saying?
Ooh, I see what you mean. As far as I get, ooh, okay. I see what you did there. Okay, yeah. All right. Even though again, Giannis' team does have firepower. Like, Kemba ain't no slouch. Trae Young ain't no slouch. Middleton drops buckets.
But ain't neither one of them, James,
At
Harden,
all.
Kawhi, or Luka.
You're right. Again, 3 of the top 5 players right now is on LeBron's team.
You say 3 of the top.
3 of the top 5 players.
I would say, besides the 4. I'll say 4 of the top 5 players.
Who's your number 4? Luka? Lillard?
LeBron,
AD? Kawhi?
AD, Kawhi, and James.
Oh, and Harden. How did I say for my own favorite player?
Right.
Yeah, Harden. Only reason why I guess I kind of slept on Harden is because Harden been kind of pissing me off a little bit lately.
Man, Harden gonna be Harden, and he can be extremely relaxed for the All-Star game. He gonna go off.
He is. He gonna be dropping bombs. So this is gonna be a fun All-Star game. Next up this All-Star weekend is the 3-point competition, and he actually put me on to something that I didn't know was going to actually happen in this All-Star game. Let the people know if they don't know.
New shot. I need to actually make sure that they still doing it. I mean, I'm pretty certain they are. I guess it's the logo shot, and I think 20 or 30 seconds is added on to the
10 seconds. Because instead of it being a 60-second clock, it's a 70-second clock.
Okay, I knew it was some added though. Shit.
Yeah, and instead of
it's one of them Trae Young, Stephen Curry.
It's basically like 10
Dame Lillard shots.
It's like 5-10 feet back from the 3-point line.
And there's 2 of them, if I'm not mistaken. You know what I'm saying, on each side.
And the total
and
points.
they work is 3 points.
Yeah,
if I'm not mistaken.
the total points has gone up to 40 points. So the 3-point contest, you can get a max total of 40 points, and you got 70 seconds to try to drop as many buckets as
So that's gonna be interesting.
It is.
I just hope when Dame go and he hit one, he gives us the stare. You know what I'm saying? Like right before he run off. You know what I'm saying? Give us the stare.
You childish. Oh.
Hey, I'm just saying.
That meme. Oh,
bro.
But the defending champion of the 3-point competition is Joe Harris. Who do you think is going to win? Who do you think is going to be in the finals, and who do you think is going to win? If y'all don't know who's in the 3-point contest, by the way, because that way y'all can give y'all own picks.
Yeah.
Lillard, Trae Young, Zach LaVine, Buddy Hield, Duncan Robinson, Joe Harris, David Bertans, and Devontae Graham.
Man, it's hard for me to go against Trae Young and Dame Dollar, bro. Because Dame Dollar been having a great last 4 weeks.
He has.
So,
he's having a phenomenal past 4 weeks. He's hot.
And
He just got slowed down the other night, but again, that's one fucking game.
it's not even just one game. He's been going off.
I'm talking about like when he got slowed down. He got slowed
well,
down
yeah.
like one game.
So I want to say the finals are Trae Young and Dame Dollar.
Who do you think is gonna win?
Dame Dollar's gonna handle the pressure of being an All-Star game better than Trae Young would, so I'm gonna take Dame Dollar.
Okay. For me, the finals in the 3-point contest is going. I feel like it's gonna end up being. And I'm picking between 2. I got one for sure. I feel like it's gonna end up being Lillard and Duncan Robinson. And listen to me for a second, right? Duncan Robinson, I caught what Stephen A has been saying about him. Duncan Robinson, if you look at that is a 3-point specialist. That man is dangerous behind that 3-point line. Like, dangerous as fuck behind that 3-point line. And for the Heat to have him, and for him to come out of nowhere this season to help Jimmy Butler and to help Kendrick Nunn, like, that's fucking crazy. So I feel like Duncan Robinson is a sleeper. He's a sniper. I feel like it could be Lillard. It's gonna be Lillard and Duncan Robinson in the finals, and I'm gonna have to give it to Lillard though.
Of course you gotta
I'm gonna have to give it to Dame though, because Dame ain't playing none of that at all.
I hear you. All right.
The dunk contest. Big Dwight's back. Dwight is back. Aaron Gordon. Now that Zach LaVine was like, I don't feel like doing the All-Star game this year. I'm gonna hop in this 3-point contest and give me one of these trophies real quick. There's no defending dunk contest champion, so it's wide open. Aaron Gordon's back. He's like, I'm gonna take you on because he wants the trophy.
He's winning.
Derrick Jones Jr. from Miami, and then Pat Connaughton.
Gordon is winning.
I don't believe that.
First off, I'm gonna say this.
Go ahead.
This dunk contest is going to be trash. There, I said it. We all wanted to see LaVine and Gordon go at it again.
Yeah.
That's what we wanted to see.
Yeah.
But we getting Gordon against everybody else. I honestly think Gordon gonna win. I hope it's extremely interesting, but I highly doubt it.
I think Derrick Jones Jr. is gonna win. If y'all have not seen the bunnies that Derrick Jones Jr. has, please watch a Heat game.
You gotta think though, man. It ain't the way that when you judge this motherfucker now, you gotta.
But what I'm saying is the elevation that young man can get, he can do any damn dunk. He can do any damn dunk. And I'll put money on that. I feel like he can do any damn dunk. The elevation, like I've literally seen him, it looked like he stepped up when he was in the air. That's how fucking high he got off the goddamn ground. Like when he lifted, it was like he took another step in the air just to wham that bitch. Like whenever somebody throws up a lob in fucking Miami, everybody's looking around for Derrick Jones Jr. if he's on the fucking court. Why? Because that man can come out of nowhere. He can come out of nowhere and dunk on your ass. And as a matter of fact, when we get off air, because you're looking like you unfamiliar.
Nah, I'm listening
I'm
to
gonna
you,
show you.
bro.
I'm gonna show you.
I'm listening.
Derrick
to
Jones
you.
Jr. is a god when it comes to dunking.
So that's your pick?
Derrick Jones Jr. is my pick.
Alright.
The skills challenges is the final, you know, I guess you could say event. Well, not the final event of the All-Star game. The All-Star game is the last event, but it's the last one we'll be talking about.
I think that's the first event after
the skills challenge.
After the celebrity
game.
Mm-hmm.
Which I don't really want to get into the celebrity game. I don't feel like that's necessary. But in the skills challenge, you got the defending champion Tatum. You got Pascal Siakam, Bam Adebayo, and then you got Patrick Beverly, Chris Middleton, Spencer Dinwiddie. We were supposed to have Derrick Rose, but he got injured, so they swapped in Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Gilgeous Alexander. The fuck is wrong with me? Why the fuck did I just say
Who are
Anderson?
you picking to win this challenge?
Well, first off, it's pretty much it's big man versus guards, like it's been doing. As far as big men versus guards, this year, low key, I want to give it to the guards. I want to give it to the guards this year. I feel like Chris Middleton might have something for that ass. I feel like Chris Middleton gets slept on a lot. This is his second All-Star appearance this year. Yeah, I feel like Chris Middleton can go ahead and pull this out and take it for the guards.
I think it's going to either be him or Tatum. But I got to pick one.
So do you think it's going to be the forwards and the big man, or do you think it's going to be the guards?
I have to give it to the guards.
So Middleton? Because at the guards, you got Beverly, Middleton, Dinwiddie, who won the skills challenge in 2018, by the way. And then you got Gilgeous-Alexander. I keep saying Anderson, Gilgeous-Alexander.
I gotta give it to the guards.
Guard? So which guard, though?
So, for me, a winner? Let me see the list again.
We went to the whole Jeopardy. We went to the Jeopardy thing.
I gotta just pick one.
Tune up the Jeopardy music again.
Beverly. Damn. That's what I give it to.
He just picked Patrick Beverly. Okay.
That's what I picked.
Well, we're gonna run through our list one more time for who we got in every category for the All-Star game, and then we're gonna get into this outro.
All right.
So, for the All-Star game in and of itself, Team LeBron.
Team LeBron.
The 3-point contest, Damian Lillard.
Dame Dollar.
For the dunk contest, Derrick Jones Jr.
Eric Gordon.
And for the skills challenge, I think Chris Middleton.
I give it to Beverly.
Okay. Well, there you have it. That's our pick for this All-Star weekend coming to you in Chicago. Again, this has been the first episode of Talking Sports with Wei and Croney. Episode 1. We'll be back with you with this young outro. So we're here with this young outro. Man. This
Bad
like
company.
We got a couple. We don't know if y'all can see it. Again, we got a friend's dog over here. But this has been the first episode of Talking Sports with Wei
and Croney.
On this episode, we covered quite a few things. We covered whether or not Phillip Rivers, would retire, or whether or not we think he should retire. We talked about the NBA, and we also discussed who we think will make a run in the second half. We discussed the XFL's first week, and we discussed the All-Star game. What did you think about the first episode?
A little nervous, you know what I'm saying? My first time on camera ever. I don't even take pictures, you know what I'm saying? So
how y'all think he did? I think he did a good ass job.
Man, I'm here though.
I think he did a good ass job for his first time on camera.
I made a new friend and shit. I'm chilling. Definitely chilling.
Tell them where they can find you at.
Facebook shit. Lavail Croney. I'm trying to think. Snapchat. Vail. VAIL. Shit. That's just about it. That's all I got.
You don't get on IG?
I got an IG, but I can't remember the name right now. I told you I'm one of them old niggas. I ain't new to this shit. You know what I'm saying?
Well, we want to say thank everybody for watching and listening to the first episode of Talking Sports with Wei and Croney. Thank y'all so much. We'll be bringing y'all more episodes. We're going to try to keep the drops on a regular basis to being on a Tuesday. And yeah, we're going to try to keep the regular drops on a Tuesday. He'll be back next week. We'll have more information and more topics for you all next week. Once again, thank you all so much. Don't forget to watch us on YouTube. Don't forget to listen to us on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and anywhere that you get your local podcasts. Once again, I have been Wei.
Croney.
This has been Talking Sports with Wei and Croney. Y'all have yourselves.
Make sure you go watch LeBron. They gonna win. Y'all better go watch them.
Y'all have yourselves a good day.
23's in the game.